The debate last night between Rishi Sunak and Sir Keir Starmer, the last of the televised debates before the general election this coming Thursday, in a week's time, gave the impression that the performances were evenly matched, according, that is, to audience reactions and to the edited version of the debate which was put out by the BBC. Sunak was assertive, focusing on traditional Conservative issues like border control and welfare spending, presenting a strong front despite the challenging polls that suggest a significant lead for Labour. In fact, if you didn't know about the polling, you wouldn't think for 1 minute, looking at Sunak last night, that Sunak was on the back foot. He aimed to rally core Conservative voters by emphasising the risks of changing leadership and describing a vote for Labour as a surrender. In fact, one of his better moments, when he won applause in short supply previously in the leadership debates, when he claimed that Starmer would try to negotiate a returns deal for illegal migrants and or unmanaged migrants with the Taliban or with Iranian ayatollahs. I thought that was a very good point. What do you do with migrants who do not meet the asylum criteria if they come from a country like Afghanistan or Iran? Because you can't send them back. And where do you send them to? And that is why it's so important that a deal with other countries like Rwanda or Albania, I would much prefer the latter, is a deal with a country that's going to process the rejections. It's not about a deterrent, it's about a rejection. And that is the conversation that should have been had. And the Rwanda plan so far has been a mess, a waste of time and a waste of money. And not remotely efficacious. Starmer targeted the integrity of the Conservative campaign, not a difficult target, frankly, linking the current election betting scandals to past issues and pointing out that he has already taken decisive action. He also pointed to Rishi's fine during COVID-19. This approach aimed to underscore a pattern of misconduct and to question the ethical standing of the Conservative leadership. Of course, looking equally at Boris Johnson's lying and Liz Truss's stupidity. You know, it's bad enough. It's bad enough having somebody who is duplicitous in power, but having somebody who is monumentally incapable is probably worse. The audience's reaction last night, frankly, was mixed, and a Snap YouGov poll indicated that the debate ended in a draw, which I think is significantly more of an accurate conclusion than the BBC's potted or digested presentation, which has turned up on its feed today. It's just that while Sunak may have resonated well with the Conservative supporters, however, by stressing key issues, Starmer maintained his stance and possibly solidified that among undecided voters by focusing on integrity and accountability. All Starmer has to do is carry his Ming vase across the floor. And he's done that. Ultimately, the debate appeared to do little to change the overall dynamics of the election campaign, with both leaders playing fairly strongly to their bases, but possibly not swaying many undecided voters. The presence of protesters outside the debate added to the charged atmosphere, underscoring the higher stakes of this election and the tensions that surround it. And one of the problems with this election is that in many ways it's already decided, and therefore it's the noisy minorities that are taking over the debate, because the debate is already over. The debate is already won and lost. And I don't think I've ever witnessed an election that has been so clear-cut a week before the actual date, and the election looks decided.